Well, we are back. Took that nice little break, dropped that fun episode with Colin, got that great episode with Nick Arthur that you all just checked out. That was our 20th milestone, wanted to announce something cool before I start this episode. I'm going to be shifting everything. I'm still going to do the vlogs. I have some more solo stuff coming, or just the 15-minute episodes with myself. I am going to upload all of the interview episodes to a podcast platform online. So that will be there. So thanks for everybody that's checked those out so far. I'm excited about that. We are back. Obviously, you see the headset. You know what that means. I'm your boy, Joel Cupcake, and here's another episode of 15 Minutes or So. My guest today is a very good friend of mine. We've gotten close over the last couple of years. He's the president of our group chat. I'm never going to explain what that means. I'll just let you take wild stabs in the dark at it yourself. He is a tour manager extraordinaire. He is a great artist manager as well. I've had the pleasure of doing quite a bit of business with him in the music industry. And it is the king of the internet trolls himself, EJ Shannon. EJ, what is going on, my brother?
How's it going? How are you?
Good, my man. Good. I'm great. It's a beautiful day here in California. And I'm talking to you, my El Presidente. So, can't really complain, before we get started on this, EJ, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show. I kind of give everybody the same rundown. Basically, I've started this as a way for my friends, the people that subscribe, the viewers, the random people that find the show, your people that are going to watch the show that from the links you provide and all that stuff. Everything's unedited. I don't, as I told you earlier, I don't go back and edit anything. There's no scripts. You don't even know what the fuck I'm about to ask you. Like, it's tight. EJ does run EJ Shannon Management, everybody, as you can see from the ticker, boom, right there. So check that out. But you know what? We're not necessarily here to talk about that today, EJ, because I already know that you manage bands, and I already know that you tour with a bunch of awesome metal and rock and roll bands. I want to know about you. I don't want to know about all those people that work for you at the management company. I don't want to know about your whole roster. I want to know about you, EJ motherfucking Shannon.
Let's go.
All right. So I met you. We've been friends 4 or 5 years now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we met. You were tour manager after the burial when we had them at the Catalyst, and you were there. And I had heard about the infamous EJ Shannon. I had seen your fucking yellow stickers everywhere. But I never met you. And then, I forget, I think Tanner was our main mutual friend at that point in time. I don't know if were you that close to Dan then? I don't remember.
Yeah, Tanner and DeFonts.
Okay, yeah. We met and it was great. But how did you? You were tour managing for a long time, and then the last couple of years you've also focused on band management as well. So I don't even know. I know, but I forget. Like, how old are you? Because you're pretty young for how successful you are in what we do.
Yeah, I'm 26. Okay,
so you're 26. So how did you get into the touring thing? How did you get started? And then when did you make the decision to become a manager? But let's start with let's go way back. I want to know young EJ, when did you start going to shows? How did you get into the touring? How did you get into being a TM?
Yeah. So when I was in junior high, maybe 12 years old or so, I started getting into metal, Slipknot, bands like that, and started going to shows as well.
Yeah.
Started going to shows as well. I got really involved in the Chicago music scene, scene over here, and I made a bunch of friends. One of those friends, his name's Mike Shanahan. He's actually in a band I manage called Hive. They're really awesome, so check them out. But he got offered to play bass in Oceano.
Okay.
They needed a van for a tour that they were doing. This is in 2014, February 2014. And I had a van, and they asked me if they could rent the van. I'm like, sure, but bring me on tour with you. And that's kind of how I got into it. So started off.
I didn't even know that about you. That's tight.
Yeah. Started off doing merch for Oceano. Eventually worked my way up to tour managing them. And then after that, I just started making more connections and working with other bands in the genre.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, you've tormented Oceano, the Faceless, After the
Yep.
Burial. Have you done a mirror, or were you? They were just on the tour you were on.
I tour managed Amir as well.
Yeah. Who else? Hit me with it. I want to know. I don't.
Born of Osiris. Yeah, a bunch of bands.
That's tight. That's sick. And then so like you obviously liked it, right? Like that's like your calling. You love being on the road and being a crew member.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
What's your favorite thing about it? Like, hit me, because like when I remember, because I used to do that. Like I wish we had done this at the same time, like so we could have always been like, when you're on tour and you see the people that you run into a lot, it's all, or like at a fest, or sometimes at the same Waffle House or what the fuck ever. It's fucking awesome. Like the vibes are just so good, right? Like
maybe you can do a tour someday.
Maybe I don't. That depends on if people want to deal with the modern age, old broken bitter Joel Cupcake. Back then I was like way chubbier and I was so aloof and I slept 3 hours and I drank a lot and I didn't care and I did whatever the bands told me to do and we just had a blast. But times were easier back then, I was living on my friend's couch, I didn't have to pay rent. Like it was tight. All I had to do was, pay my fucking cell phone bill and eat on the road. So it was sick. But yeah. I totally lost my train of thought there, EJ. I don't. Oh, my favorite thing. My favorite thing about touring is, I loved, like, whether it was hungover or not, waking up in a new town every fucking day. Like the things I got to see, the people I got to meet, my friends and whatnot. It was great. That's my favorite aspect of touring. What would you say your favorite thing from touring was? Oh. I think we lost him. My goodness. Maybe his internet went out. I'm texting him right now, everybody. Let's just wait a second. I am going to see if I can re-get him in here. So let me close this for the meantime, everybody. Sorry about that. As I was saying, that was my favorite thing from touring was, I just went and did it, woke up every day in a different town, like it was just great, dude. I just thoroughly loved it. I've met so many awesome people that are still close and great friends in my life. And then through some of those people, now I've met people like EJ and Dan and Andrew and Sean. Well, actually I know Andrew from booking shows, but a lot of the previous guests that I've had on the show are because of the fact that not only am I a promoter, but I spent some time touring as well. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. I'm texting him right now. He's coming back, ladies and gents. I don't edit anything. I don't restart anything. I don't do none of that. So just bear with me. Some technical difficulties. I don't know if it's my end or EJ's end, but we'll get it. I love EJ. We are in a group chat together with a bunch of other dudes from the music industry. Every like 2 years, we jokingly have a democratic system of who does what in the group chat, and EJ's the president. I'm the executive vice president. DeFonce is the president. Or I'm sorry, the vice president. Sean Mott got voted Music Industry Rookie of the Year. First year we had the group chat. There's some other less than savory titles I won't say out loud. I also can't let you know the deep inner workings of it. You know what I mean? Because that would just be giving away unfair information. And I am not about that. Anyways, I'll take this time to talk about something I want to talk about. We are in the middle of, there's constant protests over what's going on with George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm hopefully going to have some guests soon that are African American, so they can give you the Black perspective on what's going on and tell their stories and be heard a little bit. I feel like there's not enough of outlets doing that right now, and I have a couple friends in music that are African American who play music, and I want them to be able to get it out. I think everybody should be supporting this movement. I know everyone's worried about skeletons in the closet. I know there's a lot of shit surrounding it. But you know what? Like, this country needs change. It's not safe. It's a scary place to live if you're a person of color. That's not okay. I have so many people that work at Pinup. I have so many friends. I have so many bands that play our shows. I have so many kids that attend our shows. Well, and adults, that aren't just white people. And so we really should be supporting and listening. And even if you don't 100% agree with everything that is being said with the BLM movement, you should at least pay attention, because it is important, and it's changing history. And I don't want to be one of those, you want to be on the right side of history people, but you do, you should. So it is important. Okay. So here we go. EJ is back. Oh, my bad. There we go.
Yo,
I don't know what happened, Edward. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I'm using my phone for internet, and I had it sitting in the sun, and it overheated a little.
Oh shit! Well, I know how that goes. The hot spots don't like being hot.
Yeah, too hot. Not for the hot spot.
I have kept the episode rolling because, as I explained to you, unedited, baby. So I talked a little bit about some of my own stuff. Talked about the importance of the Black Lives Matter movement and what's going on with the protests, and how everybody should listen, and at least. If they don't necessarily agree with what's going on, they should at least hear everyone's stories and, listen to all the different perspectives going on, because, the amount of injustices that have been done to people of color in this country, they deserve they deserve to at least be heard, even if you don't agree, Anyways, I don't remember what the last thing you heard me say was, EJ. I was asking you, or I was explaining that my favorite thing from tour was kind of like, you wake up and you're in a new city every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the travel aspect of it is really cool. I think my favorite part about it is just being surrounded by some of my best friends every day and getting to work hand in hand with them.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're like me. You're very outgoing. You're a likable guy. You're always doing your utter best to have a good time.
Yes.
But you're also working. Like you can hunker down and be like, I'm going to pull a prank on the opening band, but still get all my duties done for the headlining band. I don't know if I was successful at that. That's not, I don't like to stroke myself on the show. That's a thing I'm big about, is not doing that. So hopefully some of the bands I worked with don't have too many complaints. But I was also much younger when I was doing that, so who knows? But yeah, I feel like you're a lot like me. Like when I toured, I only toured with a handful of bands, but that's because every band I toured with, they were like my friends. Like it wasn't just a job,
Mm-hmm.
Like I toured with the Arsonist guys. I toured with the As Blood Runs Black dudes. I did a couple tours I did one tour with Danza, a tour Within the Ruins, a tour with Oceano, like all great dudes, people that I met through touring and got closer with on tour. It was great. That's how, now that's how I got to become friends with, a lot of the dudes in the Chariot and the old, one of, 8,000 lineups ago of Norma Jean. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't even think I know anybody still in the band other than Corey, who is not, who's off his rocker, unfortunately. But yeah, so you would say the travel and being with your best friends is your favorite part of it. What's give me what is the most heinous, what's the most ridiculous, over the top thing you've dealt with on tour? Whether it was from a business aspect or just were you stuck in the middle of a fucking tornado, whatever, you know what I mean? What's the most ridiculous thing that's happened?
Man, I've had a few. There was one where I was starting a tour. The tour hadn't even started, hadn't even had a show yet. And we had the guitarist's laptop, backpack, everything get stolen from him at a hotel that we were at.
You hadn't even started a show yet.
Not even played a show. Some guy came and pushed him down and stole everything that he had. And so we went the whole tour with him just freaking out about this stuff. I mean, he was, writing and recording music. He had a lot of stuff that he had lost from that. And then actually after the tour was over, he ended up getting his backpack back. So it was a serial thief who got caught stealing a car, I believe.
Holy shit.
And, yeah, something crazy like that. And they recovered all of this lost property, including the backpack. So that's one thing. I've had, I don't know, a lot of issues on tour just come up here and there. You know, I was on a tour.
We all know the first day curse. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to blow up or light on fire, or who's going to get sick, or who's going to try to get kicked off the tour on the first day. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something.
Yep. I've shown up on to a tour where I show up the day before the tour starts and the band's like, hey, we didn't tell you this, but we don't have a van or trailer yet. And we didn't tell you because we figured you wouldn't come if we told you that. So we're going to find a van and a trailer to start a tour. And just, there's all kinds of things that come up. And in the middle of the tours too, things happen. It's not just at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's kind of like always like, you know, us industry folk and anybody that's been in a band and tour, it's like the first day, something always goes wrong. You know, there's always some fucking issue somewhere, you know? Yeah. So, oh man.
Good first day is a rare thing, but it happens too.
Yeah. No, it does happen. There's been a few times it's happened. I mean, I feel like I'm lucky and I get to see you and Frank Finale and a lot of my touring friends. I get to see you on the last day because like Santa Cruz sometimes ends up being the last day of tour, you know, like that's been happening a lot lately. And so it's like, dude, I love it because it's like everyone's just like, let's have a fucking good time. Let's hang out. Like sound's dialed in. There's no stress. You know what I mean? It's great, dude. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Last day's fun.
Yeah. So like what's obviously like you've moved up in echelons and tiers of like bands you work for and what you do. And like, I know you are friends with most of them, but like, you know, what's, what do you say? Like, what do you attribute to like progressing through that the most? Like what quality, you know, or like, you know, if you had to give advice to somebody, what's like the number one thing that you think has helped you like continue in a professional sense to like move up the ladder, so to speak, I guess?
Just being a hard worker and, you know, a pleasant person to be around. If you're on tour, that's a really big thing. Like you don't want to be working with someone who's grumpy all the time, basically. You want to work with someone who's fun, loves what they're doing, lifts you up, you know, good energy, that whole thing. Yeah.
I agree. I think you nailed that right on the head. Let's ask the question. I got to ask EJ, what is the fucking deal? Because this happened this started before I knew you. What is the deal with the EJ Shannon stickers? Like, how did that idea come up? Who facilitated it?
Yeah.
Like, hit me with it.
I stole that idea from Frankie Palmieri, actually.
Oh.
Before I knew him. I didn't know him at the time, but he had these Frankie Palmieri stickers. And I think I actually first saw one at the Rave in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I saw this sticker of it's just his name. And I'm like, that's hilarious. That's awesome. And then, you know, I kept seeing them here and there and I was like, all right, I'm going to do this myself. I tour, I go to a bunch of different venues. Yeah. I can make my own stickers and put them up in dressing rooms and whatnot. And it just kind of expanded from there. And I don't think Frankie really does it anymore, but,
no, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah. Every once in a while I run into one and I always put one of mine up next to it and take a picture of it and send it to him. But I definitely took that idea from him.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, like because I see them everywhere. Like even at the end of my touring career, you know, I don't know when you started doing that, but like,
yeah,
you know, like I fly out to a couple out of state shows a year, like some bigger festivals, concerts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, you and I both manage bands, so like my bands will always be like, hey, like, we still haven't met the infamous EJ Shannon yet, you know, and send me a picture of the sticker. And I'm like, man, that motherfucker really is everywhere, dude. Like,
yeah. The stickers have done a lot, actually. Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, you got the brand on point, brother. Like, good, you know, so many bands can't even get that down. And look at you, you're not even in a band and you got it down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody knows, you know, people that pay attention to the internet, you know, we know about the Golden Post. They've seen it, you know, they've seen you read it. That's like that whole thing of show. For those of you that don't understand, like twice a year on my comment section and all over Facebook, people just start spamming. It's like a list of shows to check out and buy tickets for.
Starts off like that. You might
get your tickets. I deliver. EJ's done it live on stage. It's a copy paste. Yeah. EJ, like, as I said at the intro of the episode, like, you're like the king internet troll, dude. Like, I fucking love it, dude. Like, what, like, is that's just, an emphasis on your personality, right? Like, you love being funny and just having a good time. Like,
yes.
Was there like a time when you started, like, doing more of that? Has that always been your personality? Like I said, I haven't known you this whole time.
I think if anything, it's actually slowed down a little bit from when I was younger, like in high school, and didn't really care about anything. So, yeah. I mean, back then, I think that I was kind of trolling to the max and just going crazy with it. And now it's, at an okay level where it's just fun, and I'm not too wild anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, I especially as you get older and more into the business, it's like harder to do funny shit, and it's also harder to say what you want because there's so much politics involved, and you don't know who's going to be offended. And then like right now there's much more important issues going on in the world than normal, so nobody wants to take away from that. I feel bad still doing this show, but like, it helps me stay sane, and it helps, I still want to get a little bit of content out, and it gives people a little bit of a break, a little bit of a reprieve. We all know the world sucks. We all know it's negative and all that. And, if this 20, 30 minutes gives somebody a little bit of a pause, like, that's what I'm here for,
Yeah, for sure.
So like, again, I want people to get to know you. Like, what's like, what's the EJ Shannon day like? What do you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I wake up, I check my emails, have fun. I don't know. Every day's different, I guess.
Do you ever do emails in bed or from home?
I always do emails in bed at first, and then, I get up, but I pretty much always do emails in bed when I wake up.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the bed is great, but emails from the pool, EJ, you haven't lived, brother.
Yeah.
You have not lived.
I know.
I mean, you might be the troll king, but I think I might be like the vacation emails from the pool king.
Sure.
Okay, excellent. I'll take that. I will take. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I have no problem denying that. So what's your take on what's going on right now? Like, when do you think you're going to get back to work on the tour manager front? Like, you and I haven't actually had this discussion. I've talked to like Dan and a few other people, and I haven't really done anything about COVID on the show since the very beginning. Like, what's your thought process on, like, there's COVID, and then now there's all the peaceful protests, which the country obviously needs, So like, how do you think this is going to change everything? Because like, places are being burnt down. Obviously, there's going to be this huge, on top of already having to worry about when COVID goes away or goes back to normal, or there's a fucking vaccine or whatever. Now there's like, I mean, there might be some people that wear 10 hats like me think that there might be a fucking civil war coming soon. You know what I mean? And that's going to throw everything into even more disarray.
Yeah. Well, I hope there's not a civil war coming soon, but I guess what I'd have to say is, with all the protests and everything, whatever's going on right now and however long it takes, I just really hope that there are some results from it, and we can end racism and kind of, have everything be about equality and get people of color to the, to the point where they deserve to be, and where they have deserved to be for forever.
Yeah.
And so I hope that all the protests and everything, I hope they don't last too much longer, and I hope that we can see some results from them soon. But as long as they need to last, let it go and let them do their thing, and hopefully it doesn't come to a civil war. But if it does, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes.
Yeah.
For COVID, I think that there probably won't be any tours or very few tours happening this year in 2020. Yeah. But I'm hoping that 2021 can go really hard, and there can be a lot of awesome tours that year, and everything can get back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, I know my biggest concern, and I think I don't know if I voiced this on an actual episode yet or not, but I've been on a few podcasts and brought it up, is like, I think my biggest concern is like, are people going to want to go back to shows? Because like, there's obviously certain areas where people think it's a hoax or are not concerned about it. And I know more people, especially now that it's been a couple months, are doing this whole like, well, fuck it. Like let's just gather, and then the herd immunity will save most of us and it won't save some of us. You know what I mean? Like that's my biggest concern out here is like, you know, a lot of the feedback I've gotten from people is like, yeah, we want to go to shows, but like if they live at home or if they have a loved one that, you know, is at risk, you know, like just because you can go back to shows and bands can show up and play doesn't mean that people are going to want to come see you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Cause it's new territory, really. It's really hard to predict what's going to come from all of this. And, you know, I'm no expert on viruses at all, but hopefully they're able to make some sort of a vaccine that can just, you know, solve this whole issue and get things back to normal. That's what I'd hope for. And like I said, I'm no expert on it, so I don't know if that's realistic or how long it's going to take, but I'm hoping that this whole thing is short-lived.
I agree. Yeah, I know we'd all like to get back to normal. I know you're and my artists included, you know, you and a lot of my friends are, you know, you tour for a living, like, so it's affecting everyone's livelihood, you know, so I fucking get it, man. I fucking get it. Yeah. Okay, let's you know, is there like any, do you want to throw anything out? Is there something really EJ Shannon you want to do right now? You want the people to see or you hear? I'm giving you the platform for a free troll right now, EJ, like
free troll
on any, you know, you just spit it out. I don't even care if it's aimed at me. Just spit it out.
I don't know. I could read the Golden Post. That's about it.
Ooh.
Might be a little too lengthy. It'd add a lot of length to this episode.
You know what? Maybe I'll just link the first.
People trolling for now. Just put a link in there.
I will link the video of you reading that Golden Post from that show. I forget what show it is.
Yeah.
I will put the link to the Golden Post being read out loud by EJ Shannon in the description at the bottom of the video.
Okay.
There we go. I like that. Okay, that's fair. All right, EJ. Well, I have like a few exit questions I ask everyone.
Sure.
It is still an interview, and I still, you know, got to do some of the cheeseball shit. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
Deep dish pizza.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that. I love it.
Boy.
What is your favorite city to go to on tour?
To go to on tour,
like when you're like there, you're like, oh, this venue rules. I know there's good food. The vibes are good. Yeah, I mean, weather is all over the place at every city, but
I really like Amsterdam. If I'm going there on tour, the venues are all really nice. I think that they're actually somewhat government funded, or they're like nonprofit and something
like that.
Really nice venues over there. So I really like that. It's a good city, and I like Las Vegas a lot.
Vegas is never a dull moment for sure. That's
never a dull moment.
And if you play one of the bigger venues in Vegas, they're all pretty nice, and like the hospitality is on par.
Yeah. They're all really nice venues, especially if you're playing in a casino. It's awesome. But I hear so many great cities and great venues out there, and awesome people. So there are a ton of different cities that I love going to.
Okay, that's good. No, I love it. What is, so we talked a lot about tour managing and whatnot. As far as you being an artist manager, artist manager goes, what's like, give me one big piece of advice. Like, what's the number one thing you would say to say someone wants to, like, hey, there's a local band in my town I want to manage, and then maybe go get a job at a company somewhere, or, you know, do what we did where we started our own companies for management. You know what I mean? Like, what's your number one, like, piece of advice you would give someone wanting to enter into, like, the business, like the backside of the music industry?
Make as many connections as you can, and just, you know, get yourself out there, go to shows. That's the biggest thing. Like, you're not going to become a manager if you're just sitting at home the whole day. So make connections in person at shows or whatever, and also on the internet. Just the more connections you have, the better off you are in this industry.
Connections and networking have been a lifesaver for me. And when I started being more, like Santa Cruz, I mean, you've been there, EJ, like, you know how California is outside of LA. And I mean, not even Sacramento really anymore, because Artery Foundation's not doing a whole lot of management. Like, basically there is no music industry really outside of Southern California. So like, for so long, I just did this like I don't even know anybody, like, fuck that, whatever, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, bands know what rules here. They'll come play in like the Bay and the South Bay specifically. And then like, now I do shows more places. So obviously my train of thought expanded, but like, and then like in the last like 5 years, I've been doing a lot better with networking. I've been meeting more people. I've been open to like more friendships with people like you. And like, like Sean Mott's one of my best friends. He lives on the other side of the fucking country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and I think it's paid dividends for all of us having like our little unit, like our little group.
Yeah, we're in a group chat for those who don't know. We're in a free group chat.
I explained when you cut out. I we have a group chat, and then every 2 years we have like a democracy voting, and you're El Presidente.
Yeah,
and I'm the executive vice president. So
yes, Defonce is vice president. You're executive vice president.
Mm-hmm. And then, I told them that Sean Mott was Rookie of the Year, his first year in the chat. That's a very prestigious award.
Director of Ads and Approvals, or Ads and Removals.
There it is. And then, I don't know if we have a treasurer because there's no money that goes around.
Anthony Cabrera.
Oh, yeah. ACI. You're right. And then we got our weed expert with a Q. It's tight.
Yeah, Anthony.
Shouts to the group chat. Just shouts. If any of you watch this, I don't know if you will. We know Tanner won't. So, no. Okay, EJ. Well, I have one last question for you, and then we'll wrap it. Well, technically two, but the last one's just a recap thing. The question is, so I explain this. I do this every episode. I know you watched a couple of my episodes, so you probably know what the question is. Especially being in the music industry, as you said earlier, like, you've toned down some of the trolling, you've toned down some of the stuff. We always have to have, when we're doing business, you have to have a little bit of a face. You're still yourself. You and me especially, like, there's not a big difference between like business Joel and normal Joel, and business EJ and normal EJ. But like, there's something, we all have a face, we all have a mask we wear, we all have like a presentation, a way we present ourselves. So like, what is something about you that you feel like a lot of people that aren't in your super close circle know about you? Like, what's like, whether it's like a habit or a personality trait or an interest, like maybe you like to read a shit ton, and I don't know that about you. You know what I mean?
I love playing chess. That's something a lot of people don't know. I'm a big fan of it. Pretty decent at it, not the best, but it's something that I really enjoy. I think it's a beautiful game.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's a hobby of mine for sure.
Did you start that in school, or is it something you've kind of picked up as an adult, or what?
I didn't do it in school really. I probably picked it up starting when I was in high school, and okay. I got really into it at one point as well, and I've kind of slowed down a little bit, but still enjoy playing here and there.
That's tight. See, I didn't know that about you at all.
Yeah.
That's sick. I know that's a very intellectual, like, you think like, video games are hand-eye coordination, and like you have to learn patterns and stuff, but chess is like, that's all up here, baby.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, EJ, thank you, my man, for joining me. How can everybody find you and your company online? List it out.
EJShannonManagement.com. There you go.
Nice, clean, and simple. And you're just EJ Shannon on everything, right?
Yeah, or on Instagram and Twitter, it's EJ Shannon 100.
Oh, that's right, because you keep it 100.
So yeah.
All right, tight. Everybody, I'll have EJ's links to check out his stuff and his business stuff below in the description. I'm also pointing at my name right there, so make sure you follow me everywhere if you haven't. If you're watching this because you know who EJ is and you're like, who the fuck is this asshole interviewing him? I'm Joel Cupcake. You can go back a couple episodes and figure out who I am. thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to subscribe down below. I would appreciate it greatly. Things are trucking along great. I'm having a blast doing this. I will be adding all these interviews to a podcast site eventually. I'm still doing some research for figuring that out. EJ,
Yes,
brother, thank you for joining me, my president.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's been great, and I learned some stuff about you that I didn't know, and I feel like it's been that way with every guest I've had, and so I get a little personal reward out of it too. It's great.
Yeah,
it's great. All right, well, everybody, this has been another episode of At Joel Cupcake. It's me, your boy. We're unedited. EJ's unedited. We're all unedited. Of 15 minutes or so with Edward James Shannon.
Yes, Edward Joseph Shannon.
Oh, fuck. Why did I think it was James?
Everyone thinks it's James. I don't know.
But I know it's Joseph.
Yeah.
Because you and cute ass DeFonts have the same middle name.
I know. Everyone still says James, though, which is okay. I'm fine with that.
I mean, maybe that sounds a little more elegant, like Edward James. Oh, it's because of Edward James Olmos. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that fucking actor. Oh. Anyways, well, we went off on that tangent. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. EJ, I fucking love you.
Love you, too.